everybody. It's Jeff Antoniuk here from Jazzwire. Welcome to Guided Listening. It is time for some Cannonball. And here's the thing. It's always time for some Cannonball, but it's really time for some Cannonball today. Before we jump in, I noticed something. I don't really look at my YouTube channel and get all, in the weeds with the statistics, but we just hit 15,000 subscribers. That's amazing, right? I started doing this years ago, just talking about stuff that I cared about and trying to, communicate and offer ideas that hopefully help people get going. That helped me start Jazzwire, this platform that we've now been running for 7 years, hundreds and hundreds of participants, subscribers from 25 different countries, probably more than that by now, around the world, adult musicians, semi-pros, amateurs who want to move ahead with this music. So thank you. Thank you to the 15,000 subscribers and millions and millions and millions, I think it's like 4 million views of jazz. People wanting to know about jazz. That's crazy. So maybe it's the one guy who just keeps hitting the button 4 million times. That might explain it, but thank you to you if you're that person. Yeah, probably not. Okay, so Cannonball Adderley. I've been, so this is a song we've been working on in one of my masterclass groups. So I coach these groups of adult musicians here in the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia area. And we've been working on Waltz For Debby. So I've been Bill Evans' composition. So I've been thinking about just the version that I've had in my head since I was in high school and first heard Cannonball. So this is off the album Know What I Mean. It's Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans. They had been playing together in Miles's group for a while. And then bass player and drummer that I don't think Cannonball had played with before this session, Connie K on the drums and Percy Heath on the bass from the Modern Jazz Quartet. This session it's a great album, Know What I Mean. And Cannonball's playing, when I put this on the other day to listen to and to play for my class, I mean, I'm not sure what my emotional state was before I put it on, but I was just grinning ear to ear like a lunatic. I was just so happy hearing Cannonball play. And, one of the things I've been talking to some of the sax players, all the musicians really inside Jazzwire about this week, is bringing some appropriate drama to our playing. So there's all sorts of way to bring drama to our playing that we think is appropriate and it ain't. So sax players who bend notes too much, or guitar players who bend too much or use too much vibrato. It's like, yeah, that's just not part of the jazz style. Or horn players, it makes you sound out of tune. Like there's all sorts of things that we feel in the moment and do on the instrument, but the way it prints out is like amateur. That ain't good. Nope, that ain't it. So what am I talking about with Cannonball? So what I want you to listen for is how dramatic his airstream is. So maybe some horn players know what I'm talking about, probably nobody else. But how he accents a note. And of course, we can accent a note on the piano or the bass, right? Or the drums. So how he'll hit a note, how he'll ghost a note. So when I said that, ghost a note, I really hit the word ghost. I accented it, a note. There was a syllable or two in there that I barely said. You didn't hear it exactly, but your brain filled in a note, right? I didn't accent note, the second syllable of the word note. It would have sounded weird. So Cannonball had this amazing articulation thing going on, which notes he enunciated, which notes he kind of blurred a little bit, which notes he hit with an accent, and his airstream. So like a great speaker, an orator who's interesting to listen to, how they'll work the script, right? How 4 great actors and 4 terrible actors would read a script totally differently. So Cannonball's personality. So he's got all this technique on the horn. I'm not just talking about fast fingers. I'm talking about this technique with airstream, with articulation, all of that stuff. So that's one of the things that provides this amazing happiness, this ebullience to Cannonball's playing. This, people talk about just joy, when we hear Cannonball play, just how much fun it sounds like he's having. So like, how do you do that on a brass tube? It's a cone, technically. How do you do that on a brass cone? Well, airstream. So let's listen to Waltz For Debby. It begins with a 3/4 piano introduction. Waltz, 3/4, but the tune, the way they play it here, is in 4/4. So let's dig in. Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans, Connie K, Percy Heath. I think this is 62? That's going to be my guess, 1962. Know what I mean? Here we go. I've always remembered how noisy this recording is. There's sort of this background hiss, but don't listen to the hiss. Listen to Bill Evans. Beautiful tune. This is the bridge. So he's kind of moving through it very quickly, right? The form is A-A-B-A-C. There's the last 8 measures on the end. So this is the end of the bridge. There's our melody last A section. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So he's going really quickly, right? Here's that last extension, the C section. And now he sets up the time. And he extends the extension, and here's the melody. Woo! I gotta stop, but I don't want to stop. Whatever instrument you play, if you're a singer, learn those first 4 measures of the way Cannonball's playing the melody and how he's being very short and dramatic and swinging and bouncing. Those short notes kind of have a bounce. How he'll play, repeated notes. And, there's like a universe in every measure here that we could get into. When I was at the University of North Texas back in the day, I played this transcription on alto sax, and I spent weeks, so many weeks on this. I've got every note in my head and every articulation, and I learned so much about playing the saxophone. Just to make the saxophone even do this stuff is like Olympic level hard. And then the idea is that we sort of program where that drama comes from, right? It's like an actor studying, a really great dramatic performance. And every syllable of every word, every movement, the angle that your hand is at when you made that gesticulation, made that performance. Study that, right? And do you have to study the entire movie? How about study a scene? How about study a sentence? Because it's all in there. It's all in there, right? In these universes. So let's go back, and I'm going to try not to stop every 4 seconds and talk about the great stuff I'm hearing. Here we go. Cannonball on the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's our tempo. 1, 2, 3. Check out his vibrato. Really quite fast, isn't it? Interplay between the long romantic notes and then the short notes. That's the fun, that's the bounce in his playing. Just that, long note and then short. Learn that. Oh my God. Long, short. Those 2-note groupings. Woo! Do that. Lots of that, right? 2 notes repeated. How dramatic he was going up to that high note. Laying back in the time, so much intention in here. chords. Cannonball is the master. My favorite part of the solo, second chorus. That whole section was a triad. It was a major triad, played with intention. Again, listening for how loud he'll play and how soft he'll play. Those two notes right there. He went from 2% volume to 90% volume. Woo. Like I'm bathed in sweat from listening to that. Not the best word, but how precise Bill Evans' playing is. He was kind of known as the impressionistic, kind of moody, impressionistic jazz guy. His time was so burning, so precise, but not tight precise, like just exactly right. So a short piano solo, he played AAB. So now to keep the recording short, Cannonball comes in at the end of the melody. So a short little bit of the melody out. This is the extension, the C section. Vibrato. Yeah, that was something that was I've listened to this so many times, but his vibrato really kind of stuck out in a cool way, and how well it works. Sometimes fast vibrato can sound kind of old-fashioned, and if it's too wide, like there's how fast it is, how many vibrations in a second, and then how wide it is. And if it gets too wide, it can start sounding a little crazy or a little too intense or out of tune. So yeah, it's really, really great hearing that vibrato too. But wow, Cannonball. So hopefully that gave you some insights into what I think makes Cannonball Cannonball. And I've talked to, some of the greatest alto players on the planet about Cannonball, and, sort of everybody agrees his articulation thing is just so next level, breaks so many rules, created so many new rules, the dynamic nature of his airstream. So now, can we have an airstream on the electric bass or as we're playing drums? Yes, it has to do with that hand control, stick control, all the embouchure stuff of being able to hit a note, ghost a note, come back. That's kind of where feel and groove come from. Absolutely. On the drums, on the bass. That's all that in-between stuff is sort of where the groove comes from. And that's, what makes a natural human voice is that everything isn't a monotone, how we hit a syllable here, how we ghost a syllable there. So Cannonball is the cat to listen to, and that's one of the things that makes him, gives him that sort of happy sound. We can think of somebody who speaks, that they're just fun to listen to. They're just very dramatic, right? And it's not monotone dramatic. It's not always everything at the same volume. That doesn't quite work. There's no drama there. That's just intensity at level 10, right? So hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to listen into Cannonball. And conversely, there are people that have a more cool approach or cool, relaxed approach. And so maybe we could imagine how they would get that. And so maybe we have some tools on how to listen a little bit deeper. So thank you very much for tuning in here to Guided Listening. I'll see you next week, and more fun stuff coming up. I'm also thinking about maybe changing some of what we're doing here on the channel. So I'm thinking about some things, and maybe there will be some new items for you coming up soon. See you next time.
Bye.